It's when you're starting to feel like, boy, our relationships are really getting better. We're getting really close. And boom, it almost seems like out of the blue, he's telling you how much you've hurt him.
Welcome back to the Fascinating Womanhood channel, where we talk about all things that have to do with femininity and building strong relationships. I am Cherry Lynn, and I am here with Dixie Andelin Forsyth. Hi.
Hi, Cherry.
So today we are talking about the Pandora's box reaction. So what does this mean?
It's from a Greek mythology tale. And what it means is, in Fascinating Womanhood specifically, is when you've been practicing Fascinating Womanhood for a little while, and then sometimes women have reported that their men have suddenly just kind of explode, not abusive explosion. We're talking about just his feelings, where he'll maybe either cry or talk about how angry he is at things you've done to him, and it just starts coming out of him. That's called a Pandora's box reaction. And what we learn from this is that when men, and they don't always do it, if you've never made a ton of mistakes that he has just stored inside, he may never have this Pandora's box reaction, but when women see it, it can kind of concern them.
Okay, so it's kind of like a verbal explosion of some kind.
Yes, and where it's kind of like they're emptying all their anxiety because they feel finally close enough to you to share it with you. When he's through with it, and it may take, if it's really deep hurt, it may take several times for him to do it. He is usually more close to you than ever to that, if you handle it right, if you respond to it right.
In a way, it's a bit of a positive thing.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Just don't let it scare you. If you think, oh my gosh, we were doing so well, and all of a sudden he unloaded on me and said, I just made me so mad when you did this or that, or he may cry or any kind of thing. He's trusting you enough with his feelings to have this reaction. But some women kind of blow it, and they end up getting into, they get very defensive and those kind of things. So that's why we're talking about it.
We're going to talk a little bit about what are some things that you ladies out there that can do about this, because we get a lot of questions about it. Yes. And I think one of the things I notice is that they don't realize it's happening, and they say, my husband just did this, and what's going on? So we want you to be aware of it and look for clues and know what to do about it.
And the secret, most men, even when they're having it, don't know why.
True. There's a lot of confusion.
Okay, so why do they have it? Why does it develop in the first place? Number one, men hold feelings inside a lot, partly because they're less verbal and they're not as in touch with what this feeling means. So they hold it inside. It's protecting themselves. Another thing that causes it is they may feel invalidated by you, maybe over years of time, invalidated, humiliated by you. Something that women sometimes say is, oh, my husband could never do that. Some little thing that he may let slide, but it kind of goes deep down in. Men store these feelings up unless they're kind of unleashed and kind of cleaned out. It's a kind of a cleaning out thing. He may have been guarding his pride for years. And as you practice Fascinating Womanhood and he feels safer and he begins to feel a little closer to you, he may have this Pandora's box reaction. And I actually have a Pandora's box here. Not real, of course. I made it for a lesson. And I tried to make it something that would be masculine. Where he stores his pride. He stores his pride and his feelings all in there. And it's so ornate because he's complicated. If this has happened to him and he's stored these feelings up, you may get this. Now, Bob's never done the Pandora's box reaction because I've had Fascinating Womanhood my whole life. And even though I've made lots and lots of mistakes, they haven't gotten stored up in there for Bob because we deal with it. And by the way, some of the ladies misunderstand and think that anytime he gets mad at you, it's a Pandora's box. That's not true.
Right. He
may be mad because you overdrew the bank account. I mean,
that's totally different. Yeah.
It's totally different. It doesn't mean every time you have a fight, he's having a Pandora's box reaction. Mm-hmm. It's as he's feeling closer to you. Mm-hmm. You think, what happened? The best way for you to react, what to do. Okay, so understanding him helps when it kind of comes out of the blue and you've just been feeling really, really close. The next thing, allow him to express his feelings. This can be in the form of anger, sadness, or even weeping. He may feel real quiet and then be real quiet and then just weep and then want to talk about it. And the other thing to do is to be humble. Humble means, for any of you who are a little fuzzy on that, it doesn't mean low self-esteem at all. It means you recognize your relative position where you don't know everything. And your humility is also teachable, where you're trying to learn what is right, what you should do. Lack of humility is arrogance, where you feel like you already know everything and nobody can teach you anything. So then the things don't try to stop him. Don't try to be defensive. Don't justify or make excuses for yourself. If he's expressing his feelings, saying, it really hurt me when you did this, just say, I know, I feel so bad. I feel so bad I did that. I should not have done that. We've had success stories from women where they say they've never been closer after that.
Mm-hmm. Now, what if the Pandora's box includes some secrets or things that, I don't want to say lies, but maybe there's been a little bit of opening up and shedding light on things? And what if Pandora's box includes things that truly hurt your feelings?
Hurt his feelings? Because this is
his feelings.
Oh, if he says things that hurt your feelings?
What if he says things like, or, even admits to something and says, I've been unhappy. This is just one off the top of my head. I've been really unhappy and I've been attracted to other people, and now I don't want to do it anymore. Or I was, along the lines of maybe being unfaithful for a minute and I changed my mind. Like how do you handle things like that?
I don't think if he says something to you that breaks your trust with him, that's really a Pandora's box reaction. When he has that, you're starting to get really, really close. And then he's close enough to you to trust you with his feelings of how you've hurt him.
Okay.
More expressing his feelings of how you have hurt him. So if this may happen to you, if it does, you'll know what it is. That's the purpose of us talking about it, but it may not. It may never happen. And remember, Pandora's box reaction doesn't mean he's mad at you for something. That's completely different. It isn't an argument. So it's when you're starting to feel like, boy, our relationship's really getting better. We're getting really close. And boom, it almost seems like out of the blue, he's telling you how much you hurt him. Some women have reported their husbands sleep with their arms around them every night after that. And that's what the real breakthrough, when their marriage really gets really on a whole new level is when they've had that. But that's after a long time of mistakes where you've hurt him over a period of time.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you so much for all of your really valuable advice. This has been very insightful. Don't forget to comment down below if you have any questions for us. We'd love to hear from you, and we try to answer every single comment. I'll also attach a link to purchase Dixie's book along with her workbook and everywhere you can find us on social media. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Next time.